Hi everyone, welcome to Virtual Tabletop Gaming Live. I was super excited when I got asked to take part in this. A lot of the stuff that I do online talks about safety of players at the table and safety at private tables, but there's not a lot of stuff going around about how to stay safe as a professional games master. So as a professional games master, I thought, why not share those ideas with you? I'm going to give you some tips that can help you feel confident and secure if you decide to enter the world of professional GMing. First things first, use consent tools. I cannot stress this enough. I talk about this a lot online, but it's particularly important when you're running games for people who you do not know. Before I start any game in a professional GMing capacity, I send my players a consent checklist. This just helps me understand what I need to avoid in order to make sure the game is safe and fun for everyone. It also means that you're not going to trigger anyone at your table and you can find them for free online. The next tool I like to use is a pause card. It's very simply an index card with the word pause written on it. The idea behind this is that you can pause the game whenever you need to. That can be anything from I need to go to the bathroom to I'm feeling really triggered by the situation and I need it to stop. The big thing about implementing these is that the player does not need to disclose why they have used the pause card. Obviously, if they're going to the bathroom, it's quite obvious, but if they're really triggered by something and don't feel ready to share that at the table, especially with a bunch of people that they don't know, it is very important that they are able to just use it, know that's going to be able to be moved on from, and they don't have to worry about it later. As a GM, you may want to follow up that conversation with, hey, what happened there? Is there anything I can do to avoid that situation happening in the future? It also helps when you're implementing these two tools to make sure that you give a breakdown of topics that won't be included in your games. I don't include racism, homophobia, transphobia, sexism in my world at all. This really helps set the tone of the game for my players, which means that they know when they're coming into it, these are off topic, and they can also get a sense of where I'm coming from and how I'm going to be running my table. Introducing these topics as no-goes also helps players understand if I'm the GM for them, which brings me to my next thing. You're allowed to not run games for players. If someone contacts you and refuses to use your safety tools or makes fun of the rules that you're putting in place, you can say, thank you, but no thank you. I don't want to run a game for you. Even though you're being paid, you still need to feel safe at your table. You aren't going to be the best GM you can be if you're feeling anxious or nervous that a player is going to ruin the fun for other people or even for you. Your triggers are just as important as any player at that table, and you need to actively make sure that you are keeping yourself safe. Whilst those safety tools can be used in any GMing scenario, one thing that's really important if you're going pro is that you need to get public liability insurance. This will protect you if someone gets injured at your table, which I know seems really unlikely, but if someone chokes on a set of dice you've lent them, you've paid less than £10 a month to make sure you have peace of mind about that. The next thing I want to talk about is location, because right now we are using video conferencing software for everything, but there is going to be a time in the future where you will not be doing that anymore and you'll be wanting to run in-person games. There are a couple of options you have here. The first one is make friends with a local pub or cafe or gaming shop and see if you can run your game from there. I run my in-person games out of a really lovely pub in East London. They give us a big table, they really like that we come in and order food and everything. Obviously, not everyone's comfortable around alcohol, so it might be worth finding a local cafe or a local game shop, see if they'll let you host your paid games out of there. The other option you have is running at other people's homes, which can be a little bit tricky, especially when you're a femme-presenting GM. One of the things I make sure to do is have someone call me when I arrive. So they have my estimated time of arrival, they call me in front of the group, and I give an estimated run time to the person I'm on the phone with. Make it explicit to the group that that is happening, so if anyone is feeling like they can take advantage of the situation, they're not going to be able to. I'd also recommend giving an estimated midpoint where someone is going to call and check up on you again, and then make sure you call someone letting them know that you are leaving. You can also employ those strategies if you're running out of your own home if you have a suitable space. It will weed out the skeevy ones. My next two tips are going to help with people who might be looking to take advantage instead of actually have a game run for them. The first one is have a contract that you have written up that people have to sign beforehand. You need to make sure that this contract sets out your fixed rates and that also it has clear expectations of either side of the contract. You need to promise that you're going to show up on time, prepared and presentable. Include a code of conduct for players so they know what is expected of them and they can have very clear boundaries set in place before you even get into the room. Also, do you need Wi-Fi to run your games? If you do, they need to provide it for you if they want you to run out of their home. That's obviously not an issue right now since we're running virtually, but write it in now anyway. You don't want to get to a point where you're running in-person games and you've completely forgotten to put that in. Have your rates fixed and make them dependent on number of players and runtime of the session. And a bespoke one-shot needs to be more expensive than a pre-written module. Charge for your prep time. That is just as important as the time you spend running the game at the table. Last but not least, you need to take a deposit and have a cancellation limit. If I'm not working through my agency, I will ask for a 30% non-refundable deposit up front, and then I will request that the rest of the payment is made 24 hours prior to the start of the game. This way you're paid for your prep time and you don't lose out if someone cancels super last minute. This is going to put some non-serious people off, but you don't want to be running a game for them anyway. If they don't value your skills when you aren't in the room with them, they're not going to value them while you're there either. Professional GMing should not kill the love of this hobby. Even if it's not the right route for you, you try it out and it's not, that's fine, you can quit, but hopefully these tips will help make it the right thing for you. If after watching this you try your hand at professional GMing and love it and found this video really useful, please let me know. I'm at Nayomie Jayde on all socials and I really want to hear about your professional GMing experiences and how they go. And if after watching this you want me to GM for you, I have an inquiry form on my website. It's www.nayomiejayde.com. You're more than welcome to go and check that out and send me a request. Stay safe out there, keep your tables fun, and enjoy the rest of Virtual Tabletop Live.